They're gonna make a movie out of this.
Welcome to the big show alongside tag team partner Keith Olbermann. I'm Dan Patrick.
To help me cast ESPN the movie, my special guest, Dan, and I got the name here somewhere, Dan Patrick. All that and more on Sport Countdown.
When you rub your bottle, we hope all your wishes come true.
Would you go to see a movie about me and this guy? I'll ask him. And I'll also ask him who should play us. Dan Patrick on who could possibly play Dan Patrick in the new movie Dan Patrick Made ESPN What It Is Today. Coming up. Dan Patrick joins me to try to cast the new ESPN movie. ESPN movie! My God! Dan Patrick joins me to cast the movie version of the new ESPN book. He's got his Emmy out. Look at this crap. But first, because you can't stop them, you can only hope to contain them. Here are Countdown's top 3 nominees for today's worst persons in the world. They're going to make a movie out of this.
Welcome to the big show alongside tag team partner Keith Olbermann. I'm Dan Patrick.
To help me cast ESPN the movie, my special guest, Dan, and I got the name here somewhere, Dan Patrick. All that and more on Sport Countdown.
When you rub your bottle, we hope all your wishes come true.
Would you go to see a movie about me and this guy? I'll ask him. And I'll also ask him who should play us. Dan Patrick on who could possibly play Dan Patrick in the new movie Dan Patrick Made ESPN What It Is Today. Coming up. Dan Patrick joins me to try to cast the new ESPN movie. ESPN movie! My God! Dan Patrick joins me to cast the movie version of the new ESPN book. He's got his Emmy out. Look at this crap. But first, because you can't stop them, you can only hope to contain them. Here are Countdown's top 3 nominees for today's worst persons in the world. The world has already been graced by the presence of the ESPN cable network, ESPN2, ESPN3, ESPN News, ESPN the Magazine, ESPN Books, ESPNU, ESPN Restaurants, ESPN Radio, ESPN Films, ESPN Deportes, ESPN International, ESPN The Weekend, ESPN Annuals, ESPN The Cell Phone, ESPN Lite, Tartar Control ESPN, and ESPN The Deathly Hallows Part 2. But how have we lived without ESPN the movie? Fortunately, the drought is over, and the insufficient amount of ESPN in our lives will soon be corrected. The movie rights to the oral history of the worldwide leader in everything, Those Guys Have All the Fun, by Jim Miller and Tom Shales, they have been optioned by 20th Century Fox. Oh, irony untold. The book is about 1,000 pages long, and it covers everything that ever happened at the behemoth of Bristol, Connecticut, except a couple of paint jobs and some sidewalk repair done in 1992. Thus, they're going to have to narrow it down. The website Awful Announcing suggested 5 ways to focus the film, one of which is to basically tell the story of 2 young, handsome men who once upon a time hosted the network's signature sportscast, which was called, Sports Center. Welcome to the Little Big Show, also known as the Long and Winding Road, alongside my tag team partner Dan Patrick. I'm Keith Olbermann.
The Royals hold a promotion that allows their fans to sit wherever they want to. You may be surprised where they ended up. But we begin with a matchup worthy of a standing room only audience.
Of course, they didn't get it. No. It is 1995. Earlier, you saw the White Sox in their turn back the clock 1964 uniforms at Comiskey. But how come? That was 31 years ago and not 30. And in 64, the Sox lost the pennant to the Yankees by a game. How come they wore those uniforms?
I'm glad you asked. You have to wonder what his contract will do to Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
It'll blow up the salary structure in Chicago? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
You watch the fireworks, Keith. If you missed anything, the hour-long Sports Center continues right after this.
Many sports and entertainment publications have had a crack at casting ESPN the movie, but I think my next guest is the most qualified of them all. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the man cave of his radio extravaganza, The Dan Patrick Show, my tag team partner, Dan Patrick. Hello, DP.
Hi, KO. Do you have any suggestions here for this movie?
I do, but before we cast it, I have to ask you the broader question. A movie with people playing us. Who in the hell is going to go see that?
I did wonder about it, but I was trying to think if they're going to base this on the Social Network with how they showed that in the embryonic stages. At least you had somebody that you were either liked or didn't like with, Mark Zuckerberg. So I've been told that they're going to look at the mid-'90s because you had, thanks to you, we had tension in the building.
Yeah, how come nobody ever told me we had tension in the building? I didn't know.
Just a little bit. I tried to tell you about 17, 18 times, but you wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I always did. All the tension was designed to try to make a better show. That's the one thing I can defend myself with.
But what did you take away from the book that you said I didn't know or that you didn't like?
The guy who claims he fired me, who I never heard of before, that's what I took away from the book.
I read that quote too. I don't know if I met that guy either.
No, I don't. I still to this day don't know anybody who knows the man's name was Granite or something like that. I don't know who it was. I thought what the book was a lot of information about the building up of a company. And the first 100, 200 pages, that's great because the original story of how it got to where it was before you or I got there is really fascinating. But the continuing fascination with, and then the lacrosse rights were negotiated by this executive, and he goes, no. Then the next one says, no, I negotiated those rights. That might not make for good Hollywood excitement unless one of the executives blows up suddenly in a car race.
But I think it's got to be, it went from that fraternal nature where, guys got it, and if you didn't get it, okay. But then it became mainstream. I think the commercials changed things, I think, when ESPN got in bed with the leagues.
Yeah.
Also, when they started to promote SportsCenter. And, let's face it, you changed how our approach to SportsCenter because it wasn't just writing, but it was also that we were having sort of a sardonic, sarcastic twist to it and having fun. Those long nights where we're trying to just entertain one another.
Yep.
People actually read in and said, oh, you guys did that on purpose. Yeah, I was trying to keep you awake and vice versa.
Yeah, and anything that happened, nothing ever happened on purpose. To explain to people what the show was supposed to look like and then what it turned out to be, they would look at me, and I know you had the same experience, they'd go, no, you're just making that up. It's not possible that you wouldn't know what the first highlight or the 15th highlight was going to be, or the ones in between. No, it happened every night. Nobody believes. How do you convey? Who will be able to convey that sense of tightrope, as you put it memorably, like the first day I got there? By the way, this is a tightrope and there's no net.
I know. Remember the blow doll story?
Oh God!
I tell people that they don't believe it. That I had this woman fresh out of college, and you know what, a nice girl, and she told me this tiger call up. His name was Ben Blowdoll.
Yep.
I said, it can't be. And you go, DP, it's not Blowdoll. Trust me, it's not Blowdoll.
It's not Blowdoll. We would have changed it by now.
Yeah, so then I remember somebody's counting in my ear. 5, 4, DP, it's Bloomdoll. It's not Blowdoll. It's Bloomdoll. Welcome back to SportsCenter. And I give the highlight, and I'm thinking, this is live TV. Right. This isn't the way it's supposed to be.
And the punishment for us was that nobody ever knew that it was that painful. They couldn't see the sausage being made. All right, let's cast it.
Okay.
Berman.
James Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini. That's a great suggestion. We don't have a graphic for that. I heard Michael Chiklis was one name I heard as a possibility.
Okay.
And the other one, which I think works, I think Bill Murray was a really sort of offbeat kind of idea that Bill as an actor could carry it off. And somebody suggested Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid Kingpin or Randy Quaid now? Crazy.
What? John Walsh? Now, this is a real inside joke for those of you who have not read the book. That was our boss.
Yes. Albino.
Yep. Yeah. So, Edgar Winter. I mean, he's in a commercial.
Yeah,
he can act.
You're right.
Would just you have to cut the hair, give him a little more of a beard.
I could see that. Yeah.
Dick Vitale.
I think Dick Vitale.
Yeah, that's who could do that, baby. Somebody said Kevin Spacey, and somebody else said Stanley Tucci. Were the two suggestions we had.
Stanley Tucci would be great.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Craig Kilborn.
I was thinking of Ryan Gosling.
Oh boy, that's a great idea, but he's too talented. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow. Wait, Kilby's down. Kilby's down. You got to help him. Hey, Bane. You got to help him back up.
I've got to go type my script, DP. Two suggestions. We've tried this out. Get the graphics for this because I like this.
Okay.
John Stewart to play Craig Kilborn. That's mean-spirited of me. Craig Ferguson to play Craig Kilborn? That's mean-spirited of me, too.
Wow.
Tony Kornheiser. Who plays Tony Kornheiser?
Larry David.
How about Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, I like Giamatti, too.
Yeah, that is the Paul Giamatti. And again, most people do this when you do the casting. You say, oh, we're going to cast the movie. It's who looks like them. And that's not really necessarily I mean, the best Howard Cosell was what's his name, who played it in the ABC movie. He didn't look anything like him. All right, continuing. Michael Wilbon.
Sinbad?
Sinbad. What about Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker, great actor.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah.
We can get him. I don't know if we can get him.
Okay.
Steve Levy for the one memorable bulging moment of the movie.
The bulging disc.
Yes.
Scene.
Yeah.
Steve Carell.
Okay, that's a possibility. My suggestion was any adult film star. That's another sort of inside joke.
Can Peter North be...
Okay, I didn't want to put a name to it, but
oh, my bad.
It's funny that you'd know those names. Stuart Scott.
Booyah. Who is it from? Tim Meadows?
That's great. We didn't have that. We had Damon Wayans Jr.
Okay.
But Tim Meadows is a great... I take this right off the board and put Tim Meadows up there.
Okay.
Bob Lee. Come on.
Bob took a couple shots at you in the book, didn't he?
Yeah, after saying for 15 years that he didn't say what he said.
Yeah.
On the way. Come on.
You got somebody on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah. Wilford Brimley. No? All right. You. Who plays you? As if we haven't discussed this 1,000 damn times.
I was thinking of Jason Bateman.
Yeah, okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that. He was asked to basically to play me in something. Why shouldn't he play you? We can't get David Leisure as Joe Isuzu. Is that now out of date because of the look? No.
I was going to go either that or Ryan Reynolds for me.
Oh, of course. What about me?
Well, Affleck did a great job on Saturday Night Live.
We're going to get Affleck for $8 million for a bit part in this movie?
Yes, he would do it just because of the part.
Oh, I doubt it.
This would be one of those career-defining moments for Ben Affleck.
We're going to give them a little treat. We're going to sign off together. You ready? Dan Patrick of The Dan Patrick Show, Sports Illustrated TV outlets from Fox Sports Net to Root Sports. We've done all the damage we can do here. Alongside my tag team partner, Dan Patrick, I'm Keith Olbermann. NASCAR Super Truck Racing from Saugus Speedway is next. Good night, everybody.
See you, buddy.